0 goals, 0 assists, 8 matches played. One of the sport's own power rankings put him 18th best player at the tournament. And he won the Golden Ball, the single biggest individual prize in football. So either something went badly wrong here, or we've all misunderstood what that prize is for. Football did what football always does. It decided somebody had been robbed. And the somebody was obvious. One man scored 8 goals and set up 4 more. Another scored 10 goals and set up 4 and walked away with the golden boot. Between them, they were the tournament, and neither of them got it. Put those two together and you get 26 goals and assists. 26. Put the winner next to them and the number is 0. Not a low number, 0. Whatever argument you want to have about who was best, he wasn't in that argument. He never even entered it. Now the defense writes itself and you're probably already writing it. He's a holding midfielder. You don't measure those men in goals. Fine, true even. But hold that thought because it's the answer to a question nobody actually asked. Before we argue about whether he deserved it, there's something we skipped. Who decided? Not you, not the fans, not a phone vote, not the statistics, and not the newspapers. Somebody, somewhere actually made this call. And once you know who, the whole argument changes shape. 10 people. That's the entire answer. 10. FIFA's Technical Study Group, guided by Arsene Wenger and led by Pascal Zuberbühler. And here they are, all of them. Otto Addo, Tobin Heath, Jürgen Klinsmann, Jane Ludlow, Michael O'Neill, Gilberto Silva, John Dahl Tomasson, Paulo Van Chope, Aaron Winter, and Pablo Zabaleta. 10 names. That's who decided the best footballer at a World Cup watched by most of the planet. Not a vote, a room. And here's the part that should stop you. They were not watching what you were watching. Not highlights. Not the 4 or 5 games you actually sat through. All 104 matches, every single one. 6 camera angles at once. Thousands of live data points per game coming in as it happened from performance suites built for exactly this. While you watched football, they were reading it. So sit with that for a second. You've got 10 technical analysts. They've seen every match from 6 angles. They've got the data on every pass, every recovery, every shape a team held. And you ask that room to name the best player at the tournament. You already know what kind of player they're going to name. They were never going to pick the man with the highlight reel. They were always going to pick the man who made the machine work. And there's one more thing about that room. One of the 10 was Argentine, Pablo Zabaleta. He was in that room. He was part of that decision. He was there when they didn't pick Messi. So whatever this was, it wasn't a stitch-up. Nobody was frozen out. Which means this was never a snub. It was a judgment. And that matters because a snub is something you get angry about and a judgment is something you're allowed to argue with. So let's actually argue with it, properly, both sides. Here's what that room saw. 756 passes, 93.2% of them completed. 655 of them found a teammate, more than any other player at the entire World Cup. 26 tackles, 40 recoveries, 11 chances created. And then the number that isn't his at all, but is. Behind him, his team conceded 1 goal. 1 in 8 matches. 7 clean sheets. You don't do that by accident and you don't do it alone. But you also don't do it without the man in the middle. But here's what 6 camera angles are bad at. Argentina went 2 goals down in the last 16 and didn't lose. They went to extra time in the quarterfinal and didn't lose. They needed a goal in the 85th minute of a semi-final and they got one. Then they needed another and they got that too. None of that is a passing statistic. None of it shows up in a completion percentage. But all of it is the reason an entire country believed. And that's not a small thing to leave out of a decision about who was best. So here's where I land, and it's not the answer either side wants. Both things are true. Rodri was the best player at that tournament by the only measure the people deciding were ever built to use. And Messi was the reason a nation reached the final at all. The award didn't get it wrong. The award worked exactly the way it's designed to. It just isn't measuring the thing you thought it was measuring, and nobody ever told you that. So the real question isn't who deserved it, it's this. Should the best player at a World Cup be decided by 10 analysts with 6 camera angles and a wall of data, or by everyone who actually watched it? One word in the comments: analysts or everyone, and I'll pin the best argument against me.